Recording in progress. All right. So, anything you want to talk about? Do you have any questions? Anything else? Okay. I know some of you, all of you are very polite. You muted yourself, and that's a very good thing. But if you want to interrupt and ask me something, unmute yourself and just say, I don't understand that. Could you do that again? So, once again, good afternoon. The plan is to meet here this week, today, and day after tomorrow, and have a couple of lectures. These lectures, because of the nature, we are doing it online. I will be able to record the whole thing and I will upload them on YouTube. You will get the links. What are we doing today? If we look at our assignment problems, we were supposed to do 6.4, okay? 6.4a and 6.4b. Now, 6.4a to me is parallel to 6.4b, and my plan is to do 3 through 9. Another thing some of you are thinking about exam 2, I okay, I hate to mention it. We're thinking about Milton and all that, right? I hope it won't go through Valdosta. So I hope we'll get back to campus next week. Once everybody comes back, we will decide and pick up a date based on the two sections I am working with. Does that make any sense, guys? Don't worry about the exam on October 10th. Okay? I know somebody's unmuting herself. So do you want to say anything? Okay. Feel free to ask questions. Unfortunately, I can't show you my face. I don't have a cam. If you want to ask a question, you want to show your face, feel free to do so. If you just want to tell me you have a good microphone, ask. So the plan is to talk about 6.4, and you're going to see we have to do things a little differently because we are working on this machine. 6.4 is about these two ideas. The first one is ratio, and the second one is rate. Okay. So they are both relatively easy concepts, and you guys know what they are. Um, Basically, ratio is a form of comparison. For instance, I can say the ratio of the number of boys, I'm just going to write B, to the number of girls, I'm just going to write G, in a class is 2 to 3. What does that mean? Okay. And we're just talking about ratio. We'll get to rate in a second. It simply means for every two boys, there are three girls. It does not mean there are exactly two boys and exactly three girls. There could be, if you are given this, the total number of boys could be four, and total number of girls must be six then. You can multiply 2 by 2 to get 4, 3 by the same 2 to get 6. It could also be 6 by 9, 6 to 9. Okay, so it is also, we have discussed fractions mathematically, it is same as this. When we use the word ratio, we write it with the colon. We don't write it that way, but mathematically, they're really the same. Okay, number of boys to number of girls is 2 to 3, means for every two boys, there are three girls. For every three girls, there are two boys. Out of five students, two of them are boys, three of them are girls. So all those basic concepts. I will try to do some of these problems visually just to let you know. So I'm going to erase this. And if you're like, I'm erasing too fast, you have to kind of tell me when you're in class. I look at you and I can almost sense I'm doing it a little too fast. People are still writing. So I won't be able to see those things. Now, if you're taking notes, that's totally fine. But if you're not, hopefully, if things are recorded properly, it will be available to you. So what do we mean by the word rate? Rate is also a basic concept like this. I can say a candy bar costs, okay, one candy bar, I'm just going to write one candy bar costs $1.50. Now you might want to know the cost of two candy bars. Well, that's not too difficult. Two candy bars should be doubled because one times two is two, and that'll be 1.5 times two is $3. Okay. You can also use the first line to find the cost of three candy bars. Rate. Rate simply means the cost of one. If you know the cost of one, you can find the cost of any number of candy bars. And you can do the opposite too. If you know the cost of five candy bars, you can find the cost of one candy bar. So I have my candy bar example here. Let's do another example. Let's say the cost of two pizzas, identical size, is, let's say, 12 bucks. No, let's make it $24. Okay. Two identical medium pizzas cost $24. And you want to know the cost of one pizza. Generally, we are given the cost of one pizza and we find the cost of multiple pizzas, or we are given the cost of multiple pizzas, we find the cost of one pizza. And to find the cost of one of these pizzas, one pizza has to be this 24 divided by 2. And that's going to turn out to be $12. I'm going to pause it just a little bit to see if people have any questions. Concepts are not too difficult, I know that, but the problems, I don't think the problems are that difficult either, to be honest. It's a very routine section, things you will be teaching in your grade 5 class. So this is the basic definition of rate and ratio. All right, guys, I'm going to move on. I'm going to pick some of the problems for 4.1a, sorry, 6.4a. 6.4b are parallel. I gave you the same problems, 3 through 9. After the end of our lecture today, you should be able to do these problems. You should be able to do, if you go to the homework assignment, and you should be able to do the problems from 6.4. Okay. If you have any questions for me, just let me know. All right, guys, I'm going to delete this. I can actually save it here too and start a new fresh page. So let me do number 3 first. I'll try to do all of them. I don't know what else we can do. All right. All right. So let me grab this. Okay. So here is number 3 from your book. If I make the font too small, you cannot read it. You have to kind of tell me that's all the room I have to work here. Now I can push things around a little bit like so, but we'll see. You just have to tell me that, could you make it a little bigger? I'll try to. So let's read the question slowly. If the ratio of boys to girls in a class is 2 to 3, okay, let's write it down. And I prefer to write it down as follows. Whatever they say, if they say B to G, you go with B to G. If they say G to B, you go with G to B. You try to maintain consistency. You don't change those. Okay. Boys to girls. Again, for every 2 boys, I have 3 girls. For every 3 girls, I have 2 boys. Out of every 5 students, 2 are boys, 3 are girls. They're all equivalent. All right. What is the ratio of boys to all the students in class? So, well, what would that be? So I'm going to go with A, boys to all students. I'm going to use S to represent the number of students. Boys to students would be, out of 5 students, there are 2 boys. So I'm going to say out of every 5 students, 2 of them are boys. So I'm going to say the answer to part A is going to be 2 to 5. And you can write it as follows. Okay. Why? Because to answer why, I don't give those questions too much on the exam, but you can say something like, because ratio means for every two boys, there are three girls. That means for every two boys, out of every five students, two of them are boys. You can say that, but not a big deal. If the ratio of boys to girls in a class is m to n, m is a whole number, n is a whole number. You don't know what they are, but they are just two numbers. All right. What is the ratio of boys to all students? Okay, we can do that too. Boys to all students. This one is for B, part B. Boys is M, and all students is M plus N. I'm going to pause here just a little bit. I just want to see if you are following, if you have any questions, all those things. I know sometimes it's not worth unmuting yourself and saying, I get it. But in class, I would make eye contacts and I would know. But if you don't understand something or if I mess something up, just unmute yourself kindly and tell me, no, that line is wrong. By the way, you can write on the board as well. There is a way you can annotate. So let me see. Let me make sure I give you the control auto accept all requests. Okay. So you should be able to write as far as I understand the whole software. You should be able to write and point like this. I'm using the annotate key. You can say, you can write, I don't get that, something like that. Or just describe it in English. Line 4 on the right hand side of the board. All right, guys. Last one. If 3/5 of the class are girls, what is the ratio of girls to boys? Okay, so this one, guys, I'm going to do it. 3/5 is a fraction, and we have talked about fractions a lot. So part C, I'm going to do it like this. Now I have to find the table somewhere here. They used to have a table. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So this, what I did in order to work on part C, I took the whole class and cut it into five equal pieces. Three of the five pieces should be representing girls. Let's see, I'm going to shade them. Um, Let me see if I can do that. Green, green, and green. Um, Green. And let's say the white pieces represent the boys. I can also write G for girls, G and G and B and B. I can color the boys yellow if you want me to. Okay, so now the boxes, each box could represent two girls or two boys, or five girls or five boys, or six girls or six boys. Doesn't matter. No matter what, my ratio for girls to boys, again, girls come first here. G to B is going to be 3 to 2. Yeah. What do you think, guys? Is that acceptable? Number 3. Pause here just a little bit. All right, guys. I'm going to move on and see if I can do number 4. I'm going to delete this page. So please let me know if you have any questions here. All right, let's grab 4. Okay. Now, when you do these problems, especially because you guys will be teachers, always think about how you would explain it to a fifth grader. There are approximately 2 pounds of muscle in every 5 pounds of body weight. Okay. So if your body represents, if the weight of your body represents 5 boxes, this is your whole body. Okay. This is your whole body. Now, it has 5 equal parts. Two of the parts must represent the muscles. I'm just going to write M and M for muscles, and I'm going to shade it reddish. Okay. Now, what do they want? All right. So out of 5, 2. So now for each 90-pound person, so suppose this person is 90 pounds. Okay. And I'm going to write 90 pounds because that's kind of important. All right. So they want to know how much of the weight is muscle. Okay. If 5 boxes together weigh 90 pounds, each box must weigh what? Each box, sorry. Each box must weigh 90 divided by 5. If I'm not mistaken, it's 18. Let me double check. Yes, that's right. So each box, kind of like the way we did fractions, each box must represent whether the box represents muscle or non-muscle part of your body. Each box is worth 18 pounds. And let's write it down. Each box. Each box is worth or weighs 18 pounds. Now, they want to know what the muscle mass is. How much is the weight of that person's muscles? The answer has to be 18 times 2. So the answer has to be 36 pounds. So there's a connection between ratio, rate, and fractions. They go hand in hand. Just going to pause here just a little bit. I'm going to grab a bottle of water and I'm going to tell you one more thing, guys. People are working in my apartment. Right now, they are not here. They have been very quiet. So if somebody walks in, they're doing some work, okay? They're working in my kitchen. They're not going to be very loud. All right, guys, I'm thinking about moving on to the next problem. You have to tell me, explain this again, number 4. All right, here's a rate problem. RATE. Okay, which is a better buy? 4 grapefruits at for 80 cents or 12 grapefruits for $2? Well, we don't know yet. I would like to find the cost of each grapefruit in each context or case. The first case, I'm going to say case 1, cost of, okay, that's fine. I know what's going on. So, case 1, cost of each grapefruit. Remember, guys, when we defined rate, we said if you know the cost of multiple items to find the cost of each, you just divide. You do something like this. And 80 divided by 4 is 20. So the cost of each grapefruit in the first scenario is 20 cents. The cost of each grapefruit in the second scenario is going to be what, $2. I'm not going to write $2 because the first price was in cents. I'm going to write 200 cents. And you can buy 12 of them. Okay. And 200 divided by 12. I'm just going to use my calculator. 200. Some of you can do it in your head, I know. I'm getting 16.67. Okay, right here. So you don't have to be that accurate. That's good enough. I'm going to say the second option is cheaper. It's a better buy. Just going to pause here just for a couple of minutes. One more thing, guys. There is a little bit of I have free version of Zoom. So after 30 minutes, so about 10 minutes from now, they'll kick us out, and that's okay. I'll always come back. I'll always log on and click on the same link and come back and join. I will properly say goodbye before we shut everything down. Okay. So if they kick us out, please do come back and we'll continue our class. I don't think we'll spend the whole 1 hour and 15 minutes, but certainly we'll need more than 10 minutes. Okay. So let me move on and do number 6. Okay. On a map, 1/3 of an inch represents 5 miles. Okay. So a tiny line, 1/3 of it, I'm just going to guess it's about a third of an inch. Okay. That represents 5 miles. If New York to Olosum, I don't know how to pronounce it, are 18 inches. So New York to this city is 18 inches apart on the map. What is the actual distance? So this is 18 inches. Okay. I'm going to write it like this. This whole thing is 18 inches. Okay. Now you will cut it into 1/3 piece. Okay. 1/3 of an inch, 1/3 of an inch, 1/3 of an inch. You'll do that. And how many 1/3 of an inch would fit in here? Well, that's easy. All you have to do is 18 divided by 1/3. Now, 18 divided by 1/3 is 18 times 3 over 1. Remember, guys, you flip and multiply 3 over 1. And of course, you don't have to write 3 over 1. You can just write 3. And 18 times 3 is, I think it's 54, but I'm going to pause for 1 second. 30, that sounds about right. So 18 divided by 1/3 is 54. So if you cut this 18 inches into 1/3 of an inch, 1/3 of an inch, 1/3 of an inch, you're going to get 54 little pieces. Each piece is 5 miles. So what's the distance between New York and city A? I'm just going to write NY, and NY is at this point, and city A is at this point. So I'm going to say the two cities are 54 times 5 miles apart. I'm going to leave my calculation here. So I'm going to say the distance between the two cities is 54 times 5 and 50, 70 miles. I'll check my work in a second. Distance 54. There are 54 little pieces here, one third of an inch. 154 times 5 is 250. I think that's right, 270 miles. So I'm going to pause there just a little bit. Yeah. So the mistake people make sometimes they multiply 18 by 3. There's no need to multiply. You have to divide 18 by one third of an inch. So guys, here's what I'm thinking. Since it'll kick us out, I don't like being kicked out. So why don't we log out? I will join Zoom right away. Okay. I'm not leaving. The class is not over. I'll finish 7, 8, and 9, and then we'll talk. If you have any questions and all those things. So I'm jumping out and coming back right away. Okay, guys. I hope you understand me. I'll see you soon.